Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to be working on some cubes, and the cubes will be supported with various diagonals. Now, this is one project that we're working on with the grade 3s, and this is actually a preliminary project before they work on a much bigger challenge, which is to build some what we call disaster towers. And we'll have a look at that in the next video, but this is what we want to get them to do first, so they have a good understanding of structures. And they did learn about this in grade 2, but it's a great reminder for them in grade 3. And what we're using are basically straws, and we use half straws. Okay, so what we get them to do is fold the straws in half, basically. Okay, and they can do it like this to make their squares. So we're going to quickly work on that. And what I try to tell them to do, I have some tape pre-cut, is use tape this way, so they tape it on lengthwise. Okay, and then all they have to do then is put it on like this and just roll the tape along the straw. Okay, and this one I forgot to bend before I put it on. So we go like that, and then we use another piece of tape. So basically we're making a square out of half straw. So whatever the half size is of the straw, that's the measurement that we're using. So they really don't have to measure these at all. They just have to fold them in half. Okay, so there's one square. And I'll do this really quickly again. And they can measure it if they want, but it's just as easy to put them in half and then tape them like this and push the tape over. This is a little tricky for them to get used to. Okay, and then another piece like this, and then one more like this. And I do try to tell them that when they have their squares like this, just kind of take a look and see that, make sure they're square. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Try to line them up so that they're reasonably the same. Okay, and the next part is not so difficult either. They do the same thing. They fold it in half, because now they need to make their other side. So they cut the straw in half. Okay, and they do the same thing where they put a piece of tape on it like this, and they put it on the corner, roll it in, doesn't matter which side. Okay, and they just continue doing this on the next corner as well. They keep going until they have all the corners covered. Okay, I'll do one more just so you get the full experience of this. And another half. It's a lot easier when you have your tape done ahead of time. You're not messing around with unrolling it. There you go. You can do it that way as well. That one's a little too tight. And this one again, and I'm going to actually put it like this lengthwise. Okay, so there you go. And then they do the exact same thing, and they just do it on the bottom. Okay, and they put it together that way. One thing that the kids, a few kids would do, is they'll make 6 of these, or they'll try to make 6 of these, and use these to put them together, but that's not really what we want. We want them to use individual straws. So eventually they'll tape these up together. Okay, I'll move this off to the side, and they'll have this. Okay, that's what they do next. And the challenge then is for them to understand really how to support this, because what we use clay blocks as testing material. And I show them that if I put this on, it's not going to hold it. Okay, it'll wiggle around, it'll move around in one spot. So what we get them to do next is to put diagonals on every single side or every single face. Okay, and we always have to remind them too that it's not half the straw length. So sometimes what they'll do is they'll fold the straw in half and they'll cut it, and they'll realize that, oh, it's not the right length. But what we have to do is get them to do some measuring. So they just try to see how long it is. They can cut it. Some will use a pencil to do the right measurement, and then we just put some tape on it and use the same system where we roll the tape around and roll it up like this, okay? And we do the same thing on this side and roll it around here, okay? And so you do that there, and then you do it on every single side, okay? Until all six, until all six faces or sides are covered, right? And then what we have is this. And then the challenge for them is to only hold one clay block. So when they put the clay block on it, it will hold, okay? And they're pretty excited about that. And sometimes they want to put 2 or 3 or 4 on, and I remind them that although they think it might hold it, it will actually maybe bend the straw a little bit, because these are only straws and the structure is only as strong as the material that you use in some cases. So they'll find in most cases that they have success with this. They can use one clay block and it holds it very well. Then the final challenge is for them to put new supports inside. So what they do is they go from one corner, one vertice to another, or one corner to another corner. And then they do that on the inside, okay? And they put it through and they get an idea of what the measurement is. They cut it, okay? They cut it like this. That's kind of approximately. And then they do the same thing. And this is where it gets a little tricky, okay? It depends on how they want to tape it up. So they can tape it off to the side. So I'm just taping it off to the side like this and putting it in. And then this one is going to go there. And you can already feel that it's pushing along the edges, okay, for that extra support, okay? And so eventually what they'll have is they'll have this on the inside of this, okay? And then what they do is they see if they can hold all 4 blocks on top. Now obviously this one won't, and this one won't, because it's missing the diagonals. But that's the challenge. Challenge is for them to see if they can hold all 4 blocks to successfully or make a solid structure, okay? And then this gives them the idea of triangles as solid supports, because when they build their disaster towers, their hurricane-proof towers, they are going to need lots of support and lots of diagonals and triangles in their tower. And it will help a lot in terms of for them to build their structure for the next challenge. So this is very simple. This is a one class project, and once you finish this, the next time they can move on to the towers. Okay. Thanks, and I hope they enjoy building their cubes.